In this video, you will learn how to manage risks, issues, and changes for all investment types in Clarity. Let us start by reviewing the definition of a risk, issue, and change. A risk is a problem that could happen in the future and impact the time, cost, scope, or quality of your investments. When you identify a risk, you typically plan for the probability, impact, and mitigation of that risk. An issue is a problem that has already happened. It's an open question or decision that will need to be answered to ensure investment outcomes do not get impacted. A change request is created when you review changes made typically to mitigate risks. These changes impact the already approved investment and could impact the cost, time, scope, and quality of the investment. Let's log into Clarity to create risks, issues, and changes for one of our investments. First, we need to ensure the risk module has been added to the blueprint used to create that investment. The Able Payments module was created using the Major Project Blueprint. Let's take a look at the blueprint used to create the Able Payments investment to confirm it contains the risk, issue, and change modules. Here we can see that the risk, issue, and change modules have been added to the Major Project Blueprint. Now let's open the Able Payments module investment and go to the Risks module. Let's add a risk using the New Risk button. Let's give it the name Choose UI Pattern for Product Update. Now let's select Human Interface as the category type and assign the risk to an owner. Next, let's add one more risk to this investment. Let's name this one Assigned Team Over Allocated. Now let's select Resource Availability as the category type and assign the risk to an appropriate owner. You can edit values for a risk either directly in the grid or by using the Details panel. Let's change the priority and impact of the risk we just created to high. Notice that the calculated risk changed from low to medium as a result of us making these changes. Now let's open the Details panel for this risk and click on the Conversations tab and post a message to the relevant stakeholder. You can see a check mark in the Conversations column now in the risk grid. We can also create and assign to-dos for a risk. Let's add a to-do titled Find Another Team with Same Skill Set and assign it and provide a due date. We can also attach supporting documents to a risk using the Risk module. Here you can see a document that has been attached to a risk. Let's configure the Details panel to add the field Include in Status Reporting, which allows you to flag specific risks to be included in the investment status report. This allows the investment manager to review these risks with stakeholders. Notice that Above Threshold is disabled. Administrators can use Classic PPM to enable this option using risk settings. Here you can see the risk threshold is set to 0. Let us change it to 3 and save it. Let's navigate back to Clarity and go back to the Risks module and refresh the page. Now we can see some risks are above the threshold. Let's go back to Classic PPM and change the threshold back to 0. Now when we go back into Clarity, we can see that all the risks are now above the threshold. Let us add a filter to review the risks with high priority and high impact. Let's save the view and name it High Impact and Priority. Now let's ensure this view is marked as a favorite. Let's add the resolution field from the column panel and add a description of the resolution for this risk. Because we have identified a resolution, let's update the status of the risk to In Progress. Now let's create an issue to resolve this risk and we'll name it Requested Resource Not Available. Let's leave resource availability as the category type and assign this issue to Paul Burks. All the other fields are auto-populated. Now let's add the change request needed to close this issue and resolve the risk. Let's assign resource availability as the category type and assign it to the appropriate owner. Now let's go back to risks. You can associate issues with risks. Add the associated issues field to the risk grid using the column panel. Click into this field and select the appropriate issue from the drop-down menu to link them. Now let's navigate to the Issues module to link the originating risk. Let's add the originating issue risk field from the column panel to the Issues grid. Since we created this issue from the risk, that risk ID will automatically populate for the associated issue we created. Now let's navigate to the Changes module and repeat this process. Since we created this change request from the issue, we can now see that issue ID in this field. Let's navigate back to the Risks module and explore some other features. Clarity allows you to export the details of risks, issues, and changes to a CSV file. You can also easily group and ungroup risks by using the Group By option. To delete a risk, right-click on the risk and select Delete from the drop-down menu. Now you should understand how to manage risks, issues, and changes using Clarity.